Hello, I'm Molly, and this is Care Experts, brought to you by CareCredit and Pets Best. Together, the CareCredit credit card and Pets Best pet health insurance provide all the financial tools that can help you be the best pet parent you can be. Today, we are talking about dog wellness exams. And to answer all of our questions, I am here with Dr. Heather Keller from the Lewis Animal Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. Hi, Dr. Keller. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
First, to start off, just tell us a little bit about your practice, why you wanted to become a vet, and the road that led you to where you are now.
Certainly. So I work at Lewis Animal Hospital in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've been there for almost 5 years now. I've been a veterinarian for 20 years. I graduated from Auburn University in 2001 and have been doing internal medicine and surgery just kind of at the general practice level. Started out with as a little kid, had lots of different pets. My favorite were guinea pigs. And, obviously they weren't always healthy. So had one particular, her name was Peaches, and she broke her leg. And so kind of learned general husbandry, trying to make sure that she was okay, and I was able to kind of help repair her leg. So was really excited about that. And that's when it started to kind of take hold. My grandpa also had cattle, so I was able to go out and help him with that. So just kind of was exposed on all levels. Obviously, when I went to Auburn, we had to study both small animal and large animal, but decided to focus on small animal. So for right now, I think that we're enjoying, I'm working with my husband at Lewis Animal Hospital right now, and we're enjoying being able to share that love of pets. I love the job because it's never the same thing every day. It's a puzzle. So every patient is different and every illness is different, and we have to treat them, just kind of cater to what's going on with that patient and make sure that we can do what we can to make sure that they get healthy as fast as possible. It's a little bit of a puzzle. So I enjoy that part to make sure that we can get everybody healthy as quick as we can.
We're so happy to have you. We have a lot of questions, but I'll start with a simple question. How often should I take my dog in for a wellness exam?
I think the general recommendation is you go ahead and bring your pet in at least once a year. That allows for us to go ahead and check them over, make sure that everything is healthy, including their heart and their lungs, make sure their abdomens are normal, make sure those teeth are looking nice and pretty. And obviously that gives us the opportunity to go ahead and update them on vaccines, and try to make sure that there's not something else sneaking up on us that we need to take care of while they're in the clinic.
And so, what makes these wellness exams so important? You mentioned a few things, but if you can tell us just a little more of why we need to be taking our dogs in regularly.
Absolutely. I mean, we're busy, and so we miss a lot of things. And sometimes we don't always pick up on the clues that our dogs and cats give us. Sometimes we see that they come in for their wellness exam and they look great. But sometimes, they start to have a lot of tartar on their teeth, or we start to hear that there's a heart murmur. Sometimes we can feel a lump or bump in their belly, which is obviously a possible tumor. And obviously, the faster we address that, the better outcome we can have.
So, as a vet, can you just walk me through what a vet does at a wellness exam?
Certainly. So we do go ahead and just do a full physical exam. Again, we're going to start with their nose, make sure that their eyes are nice and bright, that there's not anything going on with those eyes that we need to address. Make sure those ears are nice and healthy, and make sure that there's not any infection there. We go ahead and check their teeth to make sure that everything is nice and clean in there. We might talk about, brushing those teeth at home to make sure that those teeth stay healthy. We check the heart and lungs to make sure that there's not any problems with any type of murmurs, or we hear anything that sounds like that there could be some trouble with those lungs. We want to make sure that we address that very quickly. And we also check that abdomen and make sure that they're not uncomfortable. We also will go ahead and check their lymph nodes, make sure that those are enlarged, are not enlarged, so that we can make sure that everything looks normal for them. It also gives us the opportunity to update them on vaccines. We know that there's a lot of deadly viruses out there, and we want to make sure that they are protected against those problems, particularly those viruses that can cause them to have a terrible life-threatening illness.
What is the best way I can prepare my dog for a wellness exam at the vet?
I think the biggest issue is that a lot of them can get motion sick on the way there, or they can be really excited by the car ride to the veterinary clinic. So if we can go ahead and go on a dry run, just take them in the car so they get used to the noise and the sound of the engine, the vibrations there, and the motion, that can make them less excited when they get to the hospital so that they're happy but not nervous. And then obviously we want to be prepared with any of their records so that we can address any chronic issues for them and update them on those vaccines that they're due for.
So tell me, what is a healthy weight for a dog?
Oh gosh, that's hard because there are so many different breeds out there and they have so many different types of body types. The best thing that I like to advise my clients is to get the dog to stand up and just rub your hand across his rib cage. We really should be able to feel just the top parts of the ribs. If we're searching for them, then maybe they've got a little extra padding. And if our fingers are kind of sinking in between those ribs when we know that they're really too thin. So I think that's the best way to gauge weight in dogs. For cats, is a little bit harder. The best way we can tell with them is to kind of check that lower part of the abdomen. They get this like little pudge or sac down there. And if they've got a big one down there, then they've got a little extra. And it would be nice to get them at a healthy weight because obviously that's going to protect them against some of these chronic problems like diabetes.
We all know dogs need vaccinations. Can you tell me what vaccinations my dog should be getting?
There are certain core vaccines. I mean, obviously, we want to make sure that they stay up to date on rabies. That is something that I think that it varies from state to state. In the state of Ohio, that first rabies injection is good for a year. After that, that rabies vaccine, when we booster that, is good for 3 years. But they still need to come in yearly, so we can go ahead and check them. Obviously, do that physical exam, and we do recommend that they at least get their distemper parvo. That is a combination vaccine that protects them against those two deadly viruses. And it's very important to make sure that they can defend themselves against that virus if they get exposed to it. There's also a vaccine called Bordetella. And it is a vaccine, I think a lot of people call that a kennel cough vaccine. That vaccine protects them against an airborne problem or virus. It protects them against an airborne bacterium that can cause them to have a chronic cough after they go to kennels or go to pet parks. So if their dogs are a little bit more adventurous, they're going to go to those kennels, those play cares, or those pet parks. We do want to make sure that they stay up to date on that Bordetella vaccine so that they can have some protection if they get exposed to that as well.
Absolutely. And so you mentioned Bordetella and distemper. You explained the rabies schedule, but for these other vaccines, what schedule should my dog be on of receiving those?
The vaccine schedule for distemper and parvo are a little bit different between states. Generally, at our clinic, we do recommend they give that distemper parvo combination vaccine yearly. Certainly, that Bordetella vaccine is also given as a yearly vaccine to make sure that they stay protected.
And if you could, can you just describe to me what a perfectly healthy dog is?
Well, ideally, the perfectly healthy dog is a dog that comes in, they're happy to be there, those eyes are nice and shiny, we're not seeing any discharge from their eyes or nose, they are not having any problems with any stomach upset or any problems with the respiratory system like coughing. We want to make sure that they are moving normally. A lot of our older dogs can have things like arthritis that can be an issue. And so we want to make sure that they're not having any problems with any of those things that can cause their quality of life to be less than we want for them to be.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Heather Keller. This has been wonderfully informative. Thank you so much for your time. More episodes of Care Experts can be found at carecredit.com/careexperts. All of our featured care experts recommend and accept the CareCredit credit card, which is accepted at hundreds of thousands of provider locations nationwide. For more information on how Pets Best Pet Insurance can cover up to 90% of your pet's unexpected eligible veterinary expenses, visit petsbest.com. Or for more information on the CareCredit credit card, go to carecredit.com.
Thanks for joining us on Care Experts with CareCredit. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share with friends and family. And stay tuned for new episodes every week. All information, opinions, and recommendations discussed in this episode are for your information only. We believe the information sources are generally reliable, but because of possible human or mechanical error by the sources, Synchrony or its affiliates, including CareCredit, does not provide warranty to the accuracy, quality, or completeness of the information or any results obtained from it. Any statement or opinions in this episode are the doctor's alone, and included data was current to the time of creating this episode. Please consult your own advisors before using any of this information. Pet insurance coverage offered and administered by Pets Best Insurance Services, LLC, is underwritten by American Pet Insurance Company, a New York insurance company headquartered at 6100 4th Avenue South, Suite 200, Seattle, Washington 98108, or Independence American Insurance Company, a Delaware insurance company located at 11333 North Scottsdale Road, Suite 160, Scottsdale, Arizona 85254. Pets Best Insurance Services, LLC, California agency number 0F37530, is a licensed insurance agency located at 10840 Ballantyne Commons Parkway, Charlotte, North Carolina 28277. Each insurer has sole financial responsibility for its own products. Please refer to your declarations page to determine the underwriter for your policy. Terms and conditions apply. See your policy for details.